Welcome to Rewire. My name is Dr. Jeff Francis, and we're so glad to have you in lesson one, where we're going to talk about recovery. What is recovery, and how do you start, effective recovery, and how do you continue that, through the rest of this program, and even after you complete this coaching journey, how do you remain in recovery? What does bad recovery look like? We want you to be effective. We want you to feel like you're being heard and that you are understood. We want you to feel like you're making progress. Uh, the very first thing that I want to say is it's not about being perfect. Recovery is not about perfection at all. It's not about always getting it right, but really it's about a journey of highs and lows, some moments where you feel super vulnerable and even transparent with feelings maybe of depression or anxiety, times that you feel stressed, and how do you manage all of those emotions that are uncomfortable and still stay in uh, effective and healthy recovery. So this is a journey. This is day one. Welcome to day one. You took the first step. Sometimes the first step is the most difficult step to take. And so I want to commend you for taking that first step and joining with the rest of the group on this journey to your recovery, a journey of discovery, connections, healing, and growth. Um, it's going to be a journey where you connect with others, and we're going to have opportunities in our Zoom sessions where we can connect and grow together. This isn't a community where there's judgment or where there's any type of criticism, but there's openness. It's organic, and the growth happens together in safe community. And so, as we start, uh, put on your seatbelt, buckle up. There's going to be some turbulence. You're going to notice a lot of emotions on this journey as you are vulnerable with yourself, with others, and even with God. So buckle up. We're going to land the plane, though. You don't have to worry. And if you do feel some anxiety, be honest about that. Notice that anxiety is an emotion and it's uncomfortable, but it's not impossible to deal with it. And we're going to give you tools on this journey of recovery, how to manage the anxiety, how to manage the stress, the busyness, and the challenges of life. So, what does recovery mean to you? I want you to think about that for a moment. What does recovery look like for you in the past? What does it look like for you today? And what does recovery look like for you in the future? Oftentimes, when guys get into recovery, they oftentimes think that it's work. And it is. There's going to be work on this journey. There's some difficult challenges that you're going to have to overcome, some hurdles that you're going to have to jump over, some mountains that you're going to have to tunnel through. And so there is that side of recovery that does allude to doing recovery work. Kind of has a negative connotation. But as you think about that word recovery, I want you to also think about this positive side. What are you attempting to recover? Not just what are you attempting to recover from, which is the porn addiction, the attachment disorder, depressed mood, and anxiety. I understand that you are always thinking about, I'm trying to recover maybe from betrayal, rejection, feelings of not being good enough or not measuring up. But I want you to also think about, as we start this journey together, what are you trying to recover? Maybe you're trying to recover peace of mind. You're trying to recover a relationship with a significant other. Maybe you're trying to recover trust. What does recovery mean to you? Maybe you're trying to recover a career or marriage, or you're just trying to get your feet back under you because you've been mounted in so much pain and you're just trying to recover your health, your mental wellness, your psychological wellness, and even your physical wellness. So I want you to pause for a moment and just think about, and maybe even write down, what am I attempting to recover? Recovery defined. Just a couple thoughts that I want to share with you on this first lesson. Recovery is a return to a normal state of health, mind, spirit, and strength. As we just mentioned, those are things that you are trying to recover. The action or process of regaining possession or control of something that has been stolen or lost. A process of change through which individuals improve their health and improve their wellness, your mental wellness, your physical and psychological wellness, and even your relational wellness, where you can live a life that is pleasing to God, pleasing to self, and even pleasing to others, and strive to reach your full potential in all of those relationships. They matter. It is essential, quintessential, that as you think about recovery, you're thinking about the recovery of health. You're recovering something that matters to you. Sometimes I hear guys saying, I just want to feel joy again. I just want to be happy again. And maybe that's what you're going to focus on. I want to recover my joy. This coaching program will empower you and free you from strongholds that have held you back. We're going to talk about that over the next several weeks and months. How can I recover from these things that have held me back? This coaching program, number 2, is going to provide the necessary tools for you to stop your addiction, not just temporarily, not just for a day or two, but forever. You're going to have the tools, the awareness, the understanding, the empowerment to finally put your addiction to porn and sexual compulsive behaviors behind forever. And if we work together diligently and we're transparent and open with one another and with your community of men that you're working with, you can get to a place of freedom. Number 3, this coaching program will connect you with a safe community and a sense of belonging. You know, one of the things that most men lack is actually a safe community where they feel they belong. One of our innate desires as humans is to need a place of belonging, to feel included, to know that someone chooses to be with you, not because they have to be with you, but because they desire, they want to be with you. And as men, we long to belong. We just need the tools and the platform to where we can find that community. And I'm believing that this is going to be a safe place for you, where confidentiality is respected, where you can be transparent and openly vulnerable without the fear of rejection, without the fear of feeling like there's going to be judgment. If I share this about me, the fear is often, what if these guys don't like me? What if I share vulnerably about the things I struggle with and someone says, you know what, that's too much for me to handle? This is a community where there's no judgment. There's no criticism, but there's open acceptance and a sense of true belonging. You belong here. You took that step, and we're proud of you that you're here today. This journey of recovery is actually based on this concept of having a new beginning, a fresh start. Maybe you have felt like you've come at the end of the road and it feels hopeless. You feel like there's nothing in this world that can offer you joy or offer you acceptance or peace or a sense of belonging. Today is the day of new beginnings. And so we use the infinity symbol, which complements the number 8. In scripture and even in numerology, the number 8 represents a new beginning. It's a fresh start. It's a new season. It's a new day for you to capture, to understand that you are not alone. Actually, in scripture, it says that God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. And then on the 7th day, he rested. But on the 8th day, it was a new beginning. You're starting over. And maybe you have fallen and gotten up and fallen and gotten up over and over again. And you feel like your recovery is hitting that wall. Well, today, we're going to help you get back up in a community where you can have a new beginning. Together, we're going to embark on this 8-section journey. There's 8 sections where we're going to cover recovery. We're going to create a new beginning, and we're going to talk about things like attachment issues, relationship and betrayal issues. We're going to talk about cognitive behavioral tools that you can apply. But we're also going to talk about creating your narrative, understanding your story, and how the things that you've been through have actually impacted you, how it's created pain, and how do you get up from falling? How do you recover from relapse? And if you've had a slip in the past, how do you recover that confidence that you can get up and start again? Your recovery starts today, and it's going to continue for the rest of your life. Healing is a choice. Recovery is a journey. This is not going to be just a 6-month journey and then it's over and you just return to life as you have in the past. Recovery is a journey for the rest of your life. But I want you to know, if you are going to heal, you have to make a choice to heal. So many guys want it just to fall on them, that healing is just going to fall on them from above. No, you have to choose to heal. You have to choose to be in recovery, not just for 6 months, but for the rest of your life. That's important for you to understand. Infinity is the concept of something that is unlimited, endless, and without bound or bound. That you are joining with these men and creating relationship with brothers who are also on a like journey as you are. God is infinitely perfect. There's no limit or bounds to his perfection. He possesses all good qualities in the highest possible degree, and he alone is infinitely perfect. I want you to know the one thing that you and I and everyone on this journey to recovery, we are perfectly imperfect. We have our failures. You don't have to be ashamed of that. We have our own narratives of pain, our own narratives of falling and getting back up. And there's no shame in that. There's only one that was perfect, and that was God. But he doesn't look down on you, and we don't look down on you. Rather, he joins with you on your journey, just as we are. You're not alone on this journey. So the first step that we're going to talk about on this journey of recovery, recovery, and we're going to look at each one of these, and I'm just going to go through these, but I want you to take a moment and pause just to think about, what does this mean to me? Just as I asked you at the beginning of this lesson, what does recovery mean to me? And a lot of these are taken from the 12-step tradition. Some of you may have been in an AA program, Alcoholics Anonymous, or NA, Narcotics Anonymous. Or maybe some of you have even been in an S-type meeting, a 12-step tradition, which is more of the sexual addiction groups. And these are taken from that same tradition, but they've been tweaked to kind of give us focus over the next several months as we work together. So the R, realize and admit that I am powerless to control my tendency to fulfill my needs by acting out sexually, and that my sexual behavior has become unmanageable. The E, earnestly believe in God, that nothing I have done can or will remove me from God's love, and that He wants to and will help me to recover from all my sexual addiction and the reasons behind my acting out. The C, choose to submit all my life and my will, including my sexuality, to God. The O, openly examine my sexual addiction, why I behave the way I do, and confess all my acting out behavior to myself, to God, and to at least one person whom I trust. V, voluntarily submit to all the changes necessary to align my will with God's will, and ask Him for the strength to change and no longer give in to my lust and sex addiction. E, evaluate my relationships that encourage and have been affected by my sexual addiction. Have the courage to place boundaries around and or end those that trigger me to act out. Offer forgiveness to those who have hurt me and make amends to those I have hurt in my sexual addiction, unless to do so would cause more harm. R, reserve a daily time with God, whether that's Bible reading, prayer, and to continue examining my sexual addiction, to grow in my relationship with God, and for the strength to continue to submit and change. Why? Yield myself to God in all ways, to continue to seek help for my sex addiction, and share the victories God has led me to achieve with others who are struggling. That is kind of a wrap up of what we're going to endeavor over the next several weeks and months in a community of you being open and honest, where you are not afraid to be vulnerable, but recognizing that you're making progress, that you're moving forward, that you are starting a journey. You're not alone. I want to reassure you, you are not alone. There are men just like you that are starting this journey, and there's anxiety. I want to affirm that. I want to validate that. If you're feeling anxious, I understand. If you're feeling depressed and overwhelmed, stressed, whether it's because of work, relationships, failures, we understand because we too have been there. You are not alone. I want to ask you this question. If we're sitting here 6 months from now, what would you have to have happened in order for you to consider this program a resounding success? Take a moment. I want you to write down some thoughts of what that success story would entail. I want you to write down some of your feelings that if this journey is really going to catapult you into hope, freedom, joy, having possibly a fresh outlook on life, what does that look like? If you were to paint a picture, what does that picture look like? Can you see it? Can you feel it? In our Zoom session, we're going to discuss that. What picture comes up in your mind? If you are someone who is artistic and you want to paint it or draw it and share that with us in our Zoom session, feel free to do that. But I'd like to hear from you in our Zoom session, how you see your life looking in 6 months if this is a success.